I know a lot of people have been holding off on buying Dragonflight. A lot of people even watching this stream right now are just like sticking to Wrath, aren't really touching Dragonflight, and are curious as to how it feels to play, how it feels in comparison to more recent modern WoW expansions, and if it's looking like something that is worth actually getting into. So I'm just going to talk about my experiences so far. Quick caveat before we begin, all I care about is PvP. It's like the only thing that matters to me, you know what I mean? So I gotta be honest, man, I'm really happy with the way the expansion is turning out so far. Now, people say that about every single expansion, right? BFA felt good for like the first week, you know? Expansions do always feel good after the first week. Everything's new and kind of novel, and you're just getting used to how things play, and the meta isn't really settled, and blah blah blah, right? So people are just figuring things out, and that's always just a nice new experience, and then things tend to, you know, kind of even out after that, and the issues start to raise their heads, and people start to notice things that are wrong, and blah blah blah. So I'll try to draw some attention to those as I go. I'm going to try to give a bit of a balanced review. At the same time, though, I'm just going to go in order from what I've experienced so far. So things are going to start out great, and then we're going to get into some weaknesses. What's good so far? The leveling is so fucking fast, man. The leveling is so fast, dude. Like, leveling my warlock to max took about 9 hours. And if I'd like degened it a little bit more and just like never got up for a break or whatever, it could have been even quicker than that for my first character. And this is from somebody who didn't play beta, didn't play alpha or whatever, so I was going in completely blind, right? And it took like 9 hours and it just wasn't that fucking long at all, you know? So that's really good. And by the way, like leveling my Death Knight the second time around, it took like 7.5 hours or something, you know, and I'm sure I could be even faster than that if I, you know, really put my mind to it and blah blah blah, right? So the leveling is so quick, man. It's so quick, and that's just fucking awesome. I really like that, man. A big plus of this expansion that we're going to begin to notice as I talk about the strengths and weaknesses and stuff so far is that it's so ult friendly. Like, it's so ult friendly, man, which is just so good, but I'll get into that a little bit later, right? So the leveling, great, nice, lots of little cool cutscenes. It feels very Warcraft, by the way. No more crazy zones like Bastion and whatever, right, where things feel very disconnected from Azeroth and shit, right? If you're looking for a WoW expansion that feels... It's got like echoes of Classic going on, then this is great. The UI overhaul, also really nice, by the way. I'm not going to like touch on too many features, but it's just really nice. It's got some teething issues. You can't change the size of everything, but the UI overhaul feels pretty great. So if you haven't experienced that yet, that's also something that's really nice. Second up, once you hit max level, the first thing you want to do is farm up all of your dragon riding tokens all around the map, right? So you farm up all of those, you level up your Drake, and if I just show my UI real quick here, you level up your Drake's little talent tree like this. There are a couple of choices to make, but most of these are just very binary, so you level up your Drake, and then this shit is account-wide, right? You have your dragon glyphs attained account-wide, you know, so you have maximum talent points in every single character for dragon riding, which is just fucking awesome, and there's a lot of account-wide stuff. I think that the more reputation you grind as well, with all of the Dragonflight factions, you start to get like passive reputation gain boosts on all of your ults as well. So there's just a bunch of account-wide stuff like that that makes it, again, very ult-friendly, right? What else makes it ult-friendly? Well, as soon as you've completed the main quest campaign, like the main like leveling quest campaign one time, you unlock world quests, and the world quests are also account-wide too, you know? So if you arrive on your ult, like your second character, into the Dragonflight zones, the world quests are already unlocked, and the dragon riding is already unlocked, and your dragon's already fully leveled. So you can see why the leveling the second time around is just so fast, right? So I know I'm like revisiting that, I'm double dipping the whole leveling aspect of things, but I just really want to push it, you know, how quick it is. Like, I was leveling my, when I was leveling my shaman the other day, because I've leveled like a couple of characters already, the shaman will be my third, right? From like level 64 to 65, 20 minutes. That's fucking nuts, okay? 20 minutes? That's just, it's just mental. Another positive people are going to like a lot. You've probably heard about this already if you know anything at all about the expansion, but there's no borrowed power at all insofar as I can tell, right? There's no artifact power grind that you have to do, no Azerite grind that you have to do. And it's just fucking fantastic, you know? Like, I love that shit. And it's kind of funny, because people are talking about Dragonflight, oh, there's no new features, and oh my god, there's no new system or no new flagship feature, right? And people would say that shit like it was a bad thing. It's like, bro, I remember saying this way before Dragonflight launched. I was like, there's no new features, and people are raging about that. I was like, honestly, what did Wrath launch with? That was like a crazy new feature that was like hyped up at launch. You know what I mean? What did Wrath add to the game that Dragonflight didn't add to the game? You know, like a new BG or something? You know what I mean? Like, and I knew it was like dangerous at the time to compare Wrath to Dragonflight for obvious reasons. Wrath is like beloved, and Dragonflight is a... Who the fuck knew how it was going to turn out? We still don't really know how it's going to turn out. But my point was, the point I was trying to make is that you don't need like a crazy big new flagship feature, which by the way Blizzard have like fucked up like 3 expansions in a row in order to make an expansion successful. That's just not it. That's not what's required, right? But we haven't had an old friendly expansion in so long, bro. In so long. And people think, oh well, that's not content. It's like, is it really not content? Like, how do you define content? We're just in semantics at this point. Because right now, dude, let me tell you, I'm having so much fun just leveling a bunch of dudes, like, hyper fast, and getting to max and being able to gear them up in, like, 3 days. Because that's another thing, too, by the way. The gearing. I know this is, like, PvP only, and a lot of my points are going to be PvP only that I make in this video. But, like, gearing up a dude in BGs is fucking piss easy, right? You just farm up the honor gear, you can get fully geared in, like, 3 days, pick up some well PvP gear as well to fill up some gaps, and even though you do have the ability to upgrade your PvP items with honor points, you only need to do that if you want to use those items in PvE. In PvP, even a fully unupgraded like PvP weapon, like honor point weapon, will upgrade to item level 411 is the highest it can possibly upgrade in PvP instances, right? So as soon as you join the arena, it upgrades to max item level, and upgrading that item with the honor points to like upgrades like 5 out of 5 makes no difference, dude. So you don't have to spend forever, dude, upgrading all of your honor gear. You just buy the fucking piece of gear, and if all you want to do in that character is PvP, you don't have to bother doing shit all else, man. You're geared. Chill, okay? Just have some fun in some battlegrounds, play some arenas, play some ranked solo shuffle when that comes out. I can't wait to test that at this point of time. It isn't out right just now. Level an alt, right? Just level alts, man. I swear to God, man. Like nobody has an excuse, really, to not have at least 3 max level dudes that you're juggling and having fun with in this expansion, man. I think it's great, man. I think it's great. The dragon riding overall just feels fantastic. They have to expand the dragon riding to all zones. You know what I'm saying? They have to expand the dragon riding to all zones. That isn't a con just yet, obviously, but that is something that Blizzard are going to have to contend with in future. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it feels so good and it feels so fast that they have to expand it to all zones, dude. Especially because they've said we're not going to introduce any borrowed power systems, right? We're not going to do that. Anything you earn in this expansion is going to stay with your character, and you're going to keep anything that you attain. That's got to include dragon riding, right? So I don't know if they're just going to carry it forward into future expansions, or if they're going to retroactively add it to old zones. I really hope they retroactively add it to old zones. I think that would be amazing, personally. As for the cons of Dragonflight, right? And this is where things get a little bit... Things are getting a little bit convoluted here, but let me tell you, man. After playing Wrath for a while, and a lot of people watching this video and watching this stream right now will be playing Wrath and Retail at the same time, or maybe even just Wrath. The combat feels very, very Retail WoW still. It just does, okay? The class design differences are so noticeable and so stark when you're coming from Wrath to Dragonflight, and I've tried to put this into words before because, look man, in Wrath you can die in 2 seconds, right? 1 second if like the enemy team in 3s like lines up a perfect kill attempt on your ass, right? You can die in like 3 fucking seconds. Like 1 second in 3s. You could also die in like 1 second in Shadowlands. So I was thinking to myself, like, why does it feel so different then in Wrath, right? And I think it's just a class design issue, okay? Like in fucking Retail, it feels like everybody has tools for everything. Okay, everybody has an interrupt. Everybody, like every melee has like 3 gap closes and like 4 or 5 survival abilities. And Warlock's the same, you know. You got like a bunch of mobility, you got a bunch of fucking survival cooldowns and blah 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 blah, right? So you pop all of your shit when you gotta pop all of your shit, which is all the time as soon as a melee gets on you, you know. And things feel very, very binary, man. Like, the way that we put this, and we talked about this on stream a little bit earlier on, so I'm sorry to retread ground for anybody watching live. But the way that I explain things, dude, is that in Wrath, you survive via good use of your utility, right? In retail, you survive by countering cooldowns with cooldowns, you know? And those might sound, well, that sounds very, very similar, Cobb. What do you mean by that? I mean, I would much, much rather have back my instant cast Shadow Fury stun with a 20-second cooldown, the same way as it is in Wrath, and not have Unending Resolve, and not have my shield wall. That to me would be a big fucking improvement. Why would that be a big ass improvement? Because I can then choose whether or not to use my Shadow Fury defensively or aggressively. It's a very meaningful choice. If I use it aggressively and we don't get the kill, I'm in trouble for the next 20 seconds. If I hold it and use it defensively, right? Then I'm sacrificing my ability to potentially land a kill in the next 20 seconds, you know? If we hypothetically toting a Wrath of Lich King style Shadow Fury, right? I feel like that's the big fundamental difference between classic PvP and classic class design versus retail class design. It's like, now everybody can heal, and just winning like a duel takes forever. You know, while I was leveling on this very character, actually, some feral druid tried to gank my ass. It took me like 3 minutes to kill him, dude. It took me like 3 minutes to kill him. And it was just fucking stupid, right? It took so long to kill this guy, right? And then he fucking corpse ran, came back and killed my ass and stuck a fucking banner in my corpse. We won't talk about that, okay? If you don't like the retail style of play, if you don't like the longer time to kill, if you don't like the Legion / BFA kind of play style, and you didn't enjoy PvP during those days, then you probably won't enjoy it much now, right? I'm kind of happy to sink a lot of time into Dragonflight to give it a really, really good shot, because it's off to such a positive start and it's so ult-friendly that I'm pretty confident that, you know what, even if I don't really enjoy my Warlock, then, you know what, I'll just play fucking Destro on Wrath. I've got my Warlock over on Wrath of Lich King, having an amazing time over there as Warlock, even though I'm on a bit of a break from it right now, just for DF. If Destro sucks on retail, I'll just play something else, dude. I'll just play some... I tell you what, man, I'd recommend some Frost DK action. Frost DK, simple, meat-headed PvP, you know, melee fun, right? 3 buttons, can't go wrong, right? That's it, really. Now, have I missed anything? Oh, the new talent tree reviews. So, as for my take on the new talent trees, I suppose they do bear touching on, even though it's very, very spec specific, right? Like, I know that some people don't like the new talent trees because they feel kind of weak for their spec. Some people really like them because they've got like super powerful new options and stuff like that. So this is going to be very, very biased of me. I actually really, really like them. From the specs that I play, from Destro, I feel like things are quite cookie cutter. I don't feel like there's actually much wiggle room at all in the Destro talent tree, to be honest. And there'll be people watching this video right now, oh my god, he thinks that his talent spec is good, Lamau, it's so fucking bad, mine is so much better, meh, 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 you know. And like, whatever, dude. Like, I feel like for at least the playstyle that I want to play and that I'm finding some success with, like, this spec just feels really good to me, and I can't really see myself playing any other spec, personally. And I'll be doing a video on this spec actually pretty soon, with some like skirmishes and stuff to show it in action, see what you guys think. Frost Death Knight as well, felt like it had some really, really cool spec options, you know, with a lot of meaningful choices, and that's great. All in all, these things are obviously going to get cookie cutted to shit, so I'm not that blown away by the new talent trees in that regard. Like, I know that a lot of people just follow cookie cutter builds, and that's just the way it is for a lot of people. I just tend not to do that because I'm a stubborn asshole. But all of that said, are these talents better than the old talent system? Yeah, of course they are, man. Like, 100%, dude. Like, these feel much, much better. They feel better while you're leveling. Yeah, that's really it, you know, they're just a small upgrade. I don't think they're as big of a sweet new feature as people are claiming, as some people are like really hyping them up to be, because like I say, people will just follow cookie cutter builds, but that's okay, you know. Crafting, you also mentioned Vindy as well. The new crafting system, very, very interesting, man. I like it. I'm yet to sink my teeth into it that much. I've about half leveled my tailoring, as you can see. I got up to where I could make a bunch of new bags. The old wilder cloth bags and stuff like that. These feel good. Honestly, these feel good. I like how your skill increases your ability to craft like better stuff, high quality things as well. It gives like a sense of progression, which is really, really nice. What I will say about professions is that it's really fucking cool. Actually, yeah, this is something that I should have led with about professions straight up. With professions, you gain a bunch of experience every time you create something for the first time. Which is really, really nice. Obviously, you're leveling up like 100 points. For leveling something like this, you're granting a couple of skill points if you craft like a orange recipe. Sometimes it's even 3 or 4, which is really cool. But yeah, the first time you craft something, you get a bunch of XP as if you just handed in a quest. So it's actually well worth picking these up as soon as you can. When you drop into the Dragonflight zones, you'll more than likely pick up a quest that sends you to the trainer for whatever profession that you currently have trained. And yeah, you want to actually use the mats and craft stuff as you're fucking leveling, because it's just free XP. Like, why would you not do that? You know what I mean? I completely fucked this up and forgot to do it on Cob, and I probably could have leveled even faster if I remember to do this, you know? Overall, I'm confident first good expansion after 2 flop expansions where I thought, yeah, but, well, Blizzard were finally due some kind of win, some kind of W. Some people are calling Dragonflight like the new era for WoW. It's the new era, right? It's WoW's comeback and stuff like that. I think it's a bit early to say that, but I would say that, look, man, if you were waiting, if you've been waiting and holding off on picking up Dragonflight, first of all, well done you know, for waiting for the likes of me to fucking to pick this up and to stream it and to give my first impressions and stuff. I'd say that, look, if you're really big on alt-friendly expansions, then I'd say, dude, pick it up, man. You'll probably fucking enjoy it, okay? If you're the kind of guy who misses playing, you know, 3 or 4 guys at max level and being able to maintain them pretty easily, particularly in PvP, I'd say, shit, man, just go for it, you know? I think that it's a big W on that front. But if you're the kind of person who did not enjoy things like the class design and the combat, and those things really put a big dampener on your ass during the likes of Legion and BFA and beyond, then probably just stick to Wrath of the Lich King, dude. Probably just stick to Wrath of the Lich King, man. You know what I'm saying? What would make you want to quit Dragonflight? I think for me, if ranked solo shuffle turns out to just fucking suck and be an insanely toxic mess, that to me feels like the most... I don't think it's that it's that likely. I feel like Blizzard have been responding to feedback very, very quickly so far this expansion, and if the ranked solo shuffles are a toxic mess where you have people leaving and no one's gaining any rating because in like 70% of your ranked solo shuffle games somebody leaves on game 6 and just fucks everybody else over, I do want to trust that they'll probably fix that, because that's a massive fucking issue. Like, that's a massive, massive problem, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that if the ranked solo shuffles fail miserably, then I'll probably be out, man. I'll probably just go back and play Wrath at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting a lot on these ranked solo shuffles. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, it's nice to have all of these ults and stuff, but at the end of the day, man, not as many people that I know and I'm friends with play the game anymore, right? There's like a couple of us, a handful of us. So when those guys aren't online, I want to be able to do something that feels fun and productive on my old characters, right? Something that I can do solo PvP progression, you know. So if those ranked solo shuffles aren't measuring up and they don't feel good, then I think that would be a really big problem for me personally, you know. Because then you've got all of these ults, and what do you even do with them once they've got their honor gear, you know what I mean? Like, you need that. Ranked solo shuffles have to work. I mean, they just have to work, and that's it, man. So, yeah, that's it, man. That's my thoughts on Dragonflight so far. A tentative thumbs up keywords so far.